Okay, so we have the last part of chapter 3, which is formatting output. We have been using the screen to display information, but the information that we have been displaying has not been formatted. If we have a result from an expression that has 4 decimals, I suppose that is 45.1234. There are 4 decimals. And we need to present this as dollars and cents. Right now, the way that we know how cout works, we will always be displaying this information. We can display the dollar sign by using the quotes, right? We can display, okay, cout, the dollar sign, and then cout. Let's suppose that this is R, so we put R. And this is going to display dollar sign and then 45.1234. But we know that when we're referring to dollars and cents, we only need 2 decimal positions. So, right now, there's no way that we can format. So what we're going to learn today is to format that output, to reduce the number of decimal positions, to also align our data. Let's suppose that we're going to be displaying some information like computer parts, and we want to align that to the left. Right now, this is the default setup, so we can put CPU, mouse, like this, right? But what if I want to align it to the right? I want CPU be aligned to the right margin, mouse, M-O-U-S-E, like this. There's no way that we can do it, but today we're going to learn how to do it. So that's what formatting means, okay? Decide how many positions we can display, align it, and this can work for numeric values and also alphanumeric values. So displays, controlling the display by selecting the size, by selecting the position, by selecting the number of digits. This requires another header. We know that we can use the IO stream for see in and see out, right? We know that that's what we use. We know that we can use the string to manipulate string values. And we also know that we can use the CMath for the pound, the POW function. So now we're going to be using a new one, which is the IO manip. The IO manip is the one that is going to give us this formatting, okay, so that we can decide what size we want that field to be, what position, and how many number of digits. Yes? The POW. CMath is for the raising to a power. Yes, the raising to a power. And we're going to see that here at the end of this chapter we have more functions. But every time that we need to use a mathematical function, we use the CMath. So these are the 3 that we have been using, and today we're going to be adding one more, which is the IO manip. Okay, so first, to control stream manipulations, we use the setWx so that we can set up how large that field is going to be. And remember, this refers to the output. So I can say, okay, I'm going to set up 3 fields. One is going to be set W, and is going to be 10 characters. Then another one is going to be, I'm going to put set W, 5 characters. So that means I have set 2 fields where I'm going to be displaying the information. This is going to help me because I can do like a column setup. So it's going to be very useful because I can have, okay, set W to 10, so it's going to separate on the screen 10 spaces. So even though my output only requires 3, the computer is going to add those 7 characters and make a pad. Okay. To this is going to be, if it's aligned to the left, it's going to start CPU, and then it's going to add 7 characters. If it's aligned to the right, like in this case 5, let's suppose that it's 5, and we align it to the right, it's going to add 2 characters, and then it's going to put CPU. 2 spaces and then CPU. Let me see how many are missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Because I have set up a column of 10 characters and I have set up a column of 5 characters. So with the set W, we're going to print at least X number of spaces Y. What are we doing? We're setting up what? A column. Another one, it's a fixed. Fixed are going to be used when we are specifying that we want a decimal notation. We don't want the number to be displayed with an exponent notation. We don't want any 4e to the second, 10 to the second power. We don't want that. We want the 400 decimal notation, not exponent notation. So when we specify fixed, that's what we're saying. Even though the number can be very big, sometimes when we have a result of an operation that the number is going to be in the millions, it will display it with an exponent. So when we use fixed, this is going to be restricting to a decimal display, okay, to a decimal display. Set precision X. When we use it together with the fix, okay, together with the fix, we're going to be printing floating point values using X number of digits after the decimal. So I'm going to be able to say, okay, this is going to be a fixed, and I'll show you how we have to do it in a minute, but I'm fixed, and I want to set precision of 2. So the number that I was giving you, remember my first example, it was like 46.1234, is going to say you have 2 decimal positions. So you're going to remove 2 of your positions right now, and you're going to give me just 2. When we use this is going to round my numbers, okay? In this case, it will be to the second decimal. If we put just 1, it will round it to the first decimal, just 1 decimal. The rounding is going to depend on my parentheses. If you don't put fixed, it won't work. It will not work. I have to put both, fixed and set precision, because fixed is going to say, write this in decimal notation. For the new include, yes. If I don't use the IO manip, then fix is not going to be recognized. Set precision is not going to be recognized. Set W is not going to be recognized. That's correct. The show point. Show point. Always print decimal for floating point values. Why? Because sometimes we have a floating point value as a 12, right? 12.0. So this it will be, if we display it as a 12, it will be exactly the same thing. So when we write show point, we're saying, hey, even though I have an integer of 12, and you're going to display it as a floating point because I'm making the conversion, I always want you to say 12.0 with a fix. Then in order to align my columns to the left of the margin of that column or to the right of the margin of that column, we use the left and the right. So it's easy to remember because they are self-explanatory. Set precision, we're setting the precision for that floating point number. Show point, we're specifying show the decimal point, right? Fixed, we're saying is going to be in decimal notation. Left, align it to the left. Right, align it to the right. Set W, the W, think of it as the width. So we're saying set the number of characters that we're going to have in that column. So let's see, we have an example here. We are using a constant that the name is float. So we have this space in memory. This is float. And, excuse me, this is E. The float is the data type. The letter is, the name is E, and we have the value 2.718. This is what we have in memory. This is a constant, so that means it's never going to change. Then I have another box in memory that is called price. And it has an 18.0 because it's also float. So we know that we have a floating point number here. And then we have C out. Look at where the set W is going to be, where the fix is going to be. They will always be manipulated with the C out. With the C out. So here I'm saying set W to 8. So that means we're setting up a column of 8 characters. And display, okay, that's the first command, right? Send to the screen, this, when we're saying set W8, C out, what we're saying is set to the screen this column size. And display in there the E. What do we have in E? 2.718. How many characters do we have there? 5. So if this is going to, this is a number, okay, so numbers by default are going to be aligned to the right. Strings are always going to be aligned to the left unless we indicate otherwise. Okay, but that's the default when we display a number, and that is in C++, in Excel, if we put it in a Word table, anywhere we have a column and we display a number, it will always be displayed to the right-hand side of that column. So in this case, it's going to be padded. The padding is going to be on the left. So we have 1 space here, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, and then this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we're changing it. Now C out, left. We're changing the alignment, right? We don't want the default that is to the right. I want you to change it to the left. Get me the same width, set W, and display there the E. So now look at what happens. It's moving the other way around. I have 1 character, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I have a column of 8. So it's going to display space, space, space. So the padding now is going to be to the right. Then we're setting, okay, set my precision to 2. And display the E. What happens here? I'm losing mine. Something happened to my pen. Okay, let's continue here. Set precision 2 and then display E. And we get this. $2.7. No, let's see. Set precision, when used with fixed, is going to print the floating point value using X digits after the decimal. Without the fixed, is going to be printing the floating point values using X significant digits. So when we use it with the fixed, set precision together with the fixed is going to be referring only to the decimal portion of that number. When we use it without the fixed, is going to be referring to the most significant digits. In this case, we cannot leave the 2 out. So it's saying 2 positions. I don't have a fix before. I don't have a fix within this C out. So it's just referring, it's going to count, okay? The 2 is a significant digit, right? The 7 is a significant digit. So there it is, my 2 digits. Let's look at the next line. Now we're putting C out and we have fixed. We have to put what, I'm sorry? Anything that we want. If I had put 3 here, then it will display 2, 7, 1. But let's look at what happens when I add now the fixed. Now I have the set precision and the fixed. And what happens is the computer is going to go back and say, okay, what was the last formatting that they gave me? And I'll keep that. It will always keep it. Okay. So in this case, we have set precision. It's still there. Fixed is the new one. And it's going to be E. We're displaying E again. So again, what happens? We have a 2 here. So now it's going to be referring to the decimal position. So the 2 is not counted, and it's going to start counting. The 7 is 1 position. The 1 is another position, but the next number is an 8. So now it's going to do the rounding. It's not just going to truncate. It will do the rounding. So it's going to display 2.72. And then it's going to give me, okay, now set the W to 6. So we're changing now from 8 that we had before, we're changing it to 6. So what are we displaying? Price. How many characters do we have in price? We really have only 18.0, right? That's all we have. But it's going to be, this is going to be a number. It's going to be justified to the right. So it's going to display in 6 positions. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, but we have a double 0 here. Why? Why do we have a double 0? Price only has 18.0. Set, the set W is saying 6 positions. If I can put it space 18.0. But why did they add another 0 there? Because of this too. Set precision and the fixed. Set precision and the fixed, we have set precision to fixed, which means I'm referring to the decimal positions. I want 2. So display that. Remember, anything that is before is going to take precedence. Yes. Robert, you had a... Okay, yes. It will take a precedence until we turn it off. It's like a toggle. I turn it on, and it's going to stay there. So I already set up my set precision and my fix, and it's going to remain there. I'm going to open up your book so we can see some other examples. We know that a character is going to be holding just a single character, and if we have the character constant is going to be surrounded by single quotes. And we know that the string is going to hold a sequence of characters. And if we have it as a constant, we're going to have it in double quotes. We also know that when we're working with strings, when we're working the strings, we have each one of the characters is going to be occupying a byte, right? And then at the end, we're going to have the null character to indicate this is the end of the string. This is the way that is manipulated in main memory. Both can be used in assignment statements. We can use this operator so that we can move into a variable, either a character or a sequence of characters. Both can be displayed with the cout, right? But what happens when we are reading? When we are going to be working with a string input, with the cin. The cin is going to accept characters, and it's going to think that the end is when it finds a blank or an enter key. So that if I have, let's suppose that I have cin string str, and this is a box in main memory. This is where I'm displaying. And this, when I have a cin, this is going to send the cursor to the screen, right? The cursor is going to be there blinking. Let's suppose that I'm supposed to enter a name. Okay. When I type J-O-E and then press space, J-O-E is going to be sent to the memory, J-O-E. If I press the space bar or I press the enter. Let's suppose that I have the same instruction, enter the name, and this time I'm going to put Rose, R-O-S-E, space, and then I'm going to type Rojas. And then I press the enter key, thinking that Rose space Rosas is going to go into string. This will not happen. It's going to get just the first name, R-O-S-E, and that's what it's going to be placed in there. The next item that is going to be receiving in main memory is going to be sent to the next available variable. To the next available variable. So it's not going to receive it in name. In order to do that, it will need to find this instruction. Instead of the cin, we're going to use this get line. Get line is a function, so it needs the parentheses, and inside the parentheses it needs the arguments, and it needs 2 arguments. So the first argument is going to say, what object am I going to be using? Is the cin. Because the cin allows us to send the cursor to the screen and accept input. Comma, now the variable where you're going to be placing the value. So now this one is going to read in a string that may contain blanks. So if I use this instruction and I type rows space Rojas, then the whole thing is going to go into my str variable. If I don't use get line open parenthesis scene comma str, then I'm going to get the wrong information. Okay, we're going to try this in a small program. So let's open our Visual Studio. Let's hope it doesn't take the rest of the time of the class to open. And what we want in this program is just to ask the user, enter your name and enter your age. And then we're going to display in a sentence, in a complete sentence, name, your age is, or you are so many years old. That's what we want. Accept name and accept age. And then display that data in a complete sentence. So if I'm going to work on my plan, let's do that while this is loading up. Cancel this, and I'm going to put it here. Okay, so my definition is going to be this program asks the user for name and age and displays the information in a complete sentence. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is very simple, right? We're going to be asking the user enter your name and age. The cursor is going to be there blinking next to it. And then we're just going to display name, whatever, your age is, and then whatever that is, period. Okay, how are we going to do it? If the first thing is we're going to include, what do we need to include here? Remember? IOStream and string. That's it, right? I don't need CMath. I don't need IOmanip. I just need this. IOStream and string. Then the second thing that we always do is we define our variables, right? I'm going to put here n constants, because now we know that we can define or name constants. What variables do we need? How many variables? 2. Which will be a name, and this will be what type? A string. And then age, and this can be, it can be a string, but let's put it as a number. Let's put it as a short. Okay. So then, what do I need to do to get this? I need to display a prompt, right? This display the instruction, which is a prompt, to ask for name and age. Then display name and age in a complete sentence. And that's it. End of the program, right? I did it very fast. My pseudocode. I think this works. So now I'm ready to start my project. So I'm going to call this new project. This is going to be chapter 3, program number 3. 01. Oh, no, program number 2, we have only one. So make sure that this is win number 32, console application, and we're going to say here chapter 3 underscore PROG 2 underscore 01. We're going to continue with the wizard here. To create a console application and an empty project, and we're going to finish. Okay, it's taking its time. There we go. Now we need to add the code. So we go to the add new item. And we're going to select code, and we're going to give it the same name. Chapter 3 underscore PROG2 underscore 01. So we have now our chapter 3, program 2, section 1, and we have our editor. Okay, so we're going, this time I'm going just to write my definition right now. Okay, so this program asks the user for name and age, displays the info in a complete sentence, today is 10/13/2016, and the programmer is COSC 1336. So we're ready. We already set up that we're going to be using the include stream and string, IOString and string. So we're going to put pound include open IOStream and then pound include string. We close it by using namespace. I'm moving faster than my computer. Right. STD. Let me rewrite it. Namespace STD. Okay. So now we're ready to start our main. INT main open and close parentheses, and then I set my curly braces. And what we have here is define variables. So I'm going to define my variables and constant, even though I don't have any. So I need name, that is string. I know that I always have to start with the data type, so I put string. Name, and then semicolon. The next one is going to be a short, and is going to be an age. And then I'm going to ask the user for the name and for the age. So I'm going to put here input data. Okay, I'm going to use the cin right now. Okay, I'm going to first try this program with the cin. So in order to get a name, I'm going to put first cout, enter your name and your age. I'm going to leave one space. Semicolon, and then cin. I need a cin for the name, right? So I have it in name, and then I need a cin for the age. I have to change my input. There we go. Then we're going to output the information. And the outputting the information is going to be display name and age in a complete sentence. So it's going to be a cout. And we're going to display name, because that's what we have here, name. After that, space, your age is, close the quote, and then where do I have age? In age. Skip a line just so that we don't have the press enter to continue on the same line, and we return 0. I'm following my pseudocode. Exactly what I have here is what I have here, right? Questions, comments on this code? The first one that the user types is going to be the name. And the second item is going to be the age. Exactly. That's what I want to show you right now. That's why I put it this way. But even if I put enter your name and then see in, enter your age and then see in age, it will still give us a problem. That's why I'm doing it like this first, because I want to show you the different models of how we can manipulate and why do we need to use the get line. Okay? So let's see. We have this code. We're going to run it. Control F5. Okay. The first time that I open always Visual Studio, it takes very long. But after this one, I know that it's going to be faster. It's still working. I know because I have here this icon. Yours worked already?
Didn't work.
It should work if you put just a name.
The first name, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have the output screen. Okay, enter your name and your age. So let's suppose that we have put Joe, space, and 18 because that's what they are asking us, right? So if we type that information, we press the enter key, and there, it's giving us the information. Joe, your age is 18. Perfect. We'll close it again. We're going to run it one more time. Remember what I have been mentioning. Whenever we are given a project, we have to test it over and over again before we can submit that finished product. Make sure that it works with every single possible scenario. So now enter your name. Okay, I'm going to put here Joe space Rosas and your age, because they are asking my name, so that's what I'm writing, right? Joe Rosas space 18. Press the enter key, and now look at what happens. It's telling me, Joe, your age is -13108. What happened? Joe goes into name, and it's a string variable, so it's going to keep it, store it perfectly. But then the second value, which is Rosas, is a string value, and we're trying to put it in a numeric variable, which is age. So this is going to give us an error. What will happen if we have the following? Enter your name, close it here, and then CIN. Let me close my. And then here, Cout. Enter your age. I'm missing a quote here. Let's see, what am I missing here? Nothing, right? Let me just put, my semicolon here. There we go. Okay, so now I changed my code, and I'm asking on one line, enter your name, and I'm asking for name. Here, CIN is going to be receiving a name. Then on the next line, I'm asking, enter your age, and CIN is going to be asking for the age. So I run it. So now it's going to enter your name. So I type Joe, enter your age 18. So I press enter, and it's going to give me the correct information. Joe, your age is 18. Okay, now let's change this, Control F5. We're running it in again, and they're asking for the name. So the user types Joe Rosas, enter. What happens? It's not even asking me enter your age. It's jumping to the output. Why? Joe, again, is going to be sent to name, and Rosas, remember, is going to be sent to the next available variable that it finds. And the next available variable that it found was age. So it's going to put it in age. It can't. So it's just going to skip the Cout completely. And it's going to say the third Cout, your age, Joe, enter your age, Joe, your age is 1 minus 13108. Mm-hmm.
Let's say we have 5 years pending, or 5 inputs pending, and the customer, the person inputs 5 different, statements at the beginning of the very first Cout, and at that point, it kind of overwrites all the Couts that you have after that. Doesn't keep asking.
It's not going to keep asking.
Okay, just gives you whatever. Okay. So, and then the customer, the person inputs 5 different, statements at the beginning of the very first Cout, and at that point, it kind of overwrites all the that you have after that. Doesn't keep asking.
It's not going to keep asking. Yeah, it's just going to give us the error. So what do we need to change here? The cout enter your name, because this is the one that can have a space in between, right? So we want to change this. Enter your name stays there because we want to display that prompt, but the cin is going to change. What are we going to have here? The getLine function. So we use getLine, open parenthesis, cin, comma, name. Close the parenthesis, and then the semicolon. We run it, Control F5. I'm going to type the same information. First, I'm going to put Joe and 18, and then I'm going to put Joe, Rosas, and then 18, and see what happens now. Yes, that's it. Because I only need getLine in one single entry for the name. So it's asking me for the name, so I put Joe, press the enter, enter your age, 18, and it's correct. Now I'm going to run it again and try it with the first and last name. So enter your name, so I put Joe, space Rosas. Next line, enter your age, and it's halting there, 18, press enter, and now it's correct. Joe Rosas, your age is 18. One more change. Can I put enter your name and your age? How do I need to take out the second cout, this one? Remove it. Let's run it. Okay, let's wait for. Hmm? We'll see. What if my name has more than one space? That's a good question. Enter your name and your age. Okay, so I put Joe Rosas. Okay, here the key is going to be my enter key. If I put 18 like this, look at what happens. What happened to my cursor? Still asking. It's waiting for something. I'm going to put here 18 again. Or no, let's put 25 so we can see this different. Look at what happens. Look at the output. Jose Rosas, so Joe Rosas 18, your age is 25. What happened here? The whole line, Joe Rosas 18 with the 2 embedded spaces, were taken as if it was the name. And it was not until I pressed the enter key that the cursor was blinking, asking, there's something else that I need. I cannot continue if you don't give me another piece of data. And that piece of data was the age. So in this is going to work. The getLine is going to stop grabbing characters until it finds the enter key, because the space is now part of the name or part of that string. So the only way that it's going to recognize that this is the end of the string is when we press, or the user presses the enter key. So if I run it again, Control F5, and I tap enter your name and your age. Okay, my name is Joe Antonio Rosas Flores. Okay, long name. And then I press the enter key. It's still blinking. Why? Because I need to enter the second part of that answer, right? So the second part was the age. There it is, 18. Now I press the enter key again, and it's giving me Joe Antonio Rosas Flores, your age is 18. So the key is going to be the enter key when we use the get line. Questions? Comments? Right here.